Now I can begin, like, I'm gonna start with my eyes first. I always like to start with the eyes first because I like to make a mess. I like to make a big mess. And some makeup artists, they're not into that. Whatever, do you, and I'll do me. I'm gonna start with the Stila foil in, I don't know what, vintage black gold. I love this guy, oh man. By the way, I hope you guys like my ring light. It's called the Sun. Just gives that perfect round. I'm just gonna hit the eyelid. And what I'm doing is I'm making a controlled mess. I'm really not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I just want to get that color on because I'm using it as my eyeshadow primer more than anything. Look at that. That glow, it's so satisfying. That shimmer, that crackle of light. So already, look, I'm already looking fierce. I'm ready to go to the club. Like this. So a little bit about me. I'm a professional makeup artist of 13 years. I was trained by Eugenia Weston, who's the founder and creator of Senna Cosmetics. And I got my esthetician's license so that I could apprentice her. My best friend, she was already working for her and said, go to esthetician school. And I didn't know that there was jobs like that at the time. This is like 2004 that I started working there. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So I did it. And from there, I worked at her salon in Beverly Hills and a multitude. Anyways, let's go to this. This is my Venus 2 palette from Lime Crime. This is my jam. This yellow, it's like a really great mustard. It can just accent your makeup in a very cool way, or it can make what I call I just love doing dead makeup, I call it, where I just look really crazy dead in the eyes. And I'll add oranges and just make it very ethereal and weird. But you'll see where I'm going with this. It's not going to stay creepy looking. And especially when I bleach my eyebrows out. Oh, that shit's tight. Shit's tight. So now I'm going in here. And look, I'm still just making a mess. I'm not really trying to get too crazy. I'm not trying to I'm shaping my eye already by putting the color right in here. And I'm putting it at the top of on my brow bone, my orbital bone. I'm not putting it deep within, because I can go in there later with my black, which I am going to do. And you can see I'm always using the same brush. Once I start using a brush, I won't put it down until I feel like, all right, we used it. Now I'm going to pack it in. I'm packing in the black right into the crease and onto the side of my eye. So it's almost like I'm putting a square or whatever at the edge in just kind of a controlled way. See how fast that is? I'm already looking fierce. I'm already looking fucking fierce. So worked with Eugenia, worked at a multitude of salons, started becoming a writer for a brand called Numi. And then from there I went to work at E Online, started doing beauty blogs for the E Style Collective. And now I just freelance. See, I'm not going to go all the way in. I'm also making it really low because I have a long face. I have a really long face and I want to take up some of the space so that I can, you know what I'm talking about. Or do you? Am I making any sense? Worked on E Online. Oh no. Oh no. My gel liner is missing a lid. And gel liners that are missing the lid is a dangerous combination because they dry out and then they don't work. And that pencil's like 20 bucks. So this is how I kind of start my looks. I could go in with some orange to make it a little more weird looking, which is always awesome. See, I'm going to put it a little bit lower than the yellow. Like the yellow was creating a foundation for the orange that was going to come in. And I already have the black in there. And look, I'm just packing on the color. I'm just making a controlled mess, really. And I'm not trying to do no cut crease. This is more high fashion, more avant-garde. Not that cut and crease, there's not a time and a place for cut crease, but I'm not into that look. I'm not more into Instagram makeup. A little bit. I like contour. But I'll show you how I contour. I don't contour like having a Nike swoosh or look like somebody whipped me with an orange bronzer. So, ready? Just kidding. I'm looking dead. What I like to do with eyeshadows is create this neutral colored base. It's more warm. And then I'll go in with like weird khaki greens or teals or bright blues. I'm obsessed with color. I feel like really playing with color creates such an interesting detailed look. So you're not only mixing textures and finishes, like from mattes to shimmers, you're mixing the colors in such a way that when you see the makeup, you're just like, what the fuck is going, like, how are those colors moving in? So I'm getting close to the lash line, and you're gonna see just, and with the yellow at the edges, and immediately smudge. This is Lise Watier's, these are her waterproof liners, and once you put this in your waterline, it's not going to come off until you graduate from college and move out of your parents' basement. Like, it's going to be there for a while. And I'm just keeping it at the lash line. I'm not even trying to do cat eye or anything. A little bit. But I'm going to go smudge it. So I just wanted to apply the color. And see what it does? It just starts to give this very interesting ebb and flow from one color to the next, and I'm just making a mess. Like, I'm not even really trying to make a defined cat eye, or I'm just applying color in a very like I said, controlled chaos, but I'm making a mess. Like, I'm getting into it because I can go and take off a little bit later, but I'm not. I want this shit to be hardcore. So my eyes are, one is a little more protruding and one's a little pushed back, and it's smaller. So I have to do anything. But if I'm going for symmetry, I'm going to make this a little lower. And then I'm going to bring my eye line also lower, because this eye just goes up like this, and I just want to make them symmetrical. Sometimes I just fuck with my clients royally, because they won't even notice something on their face, and I'll just casually mention it, and then I give them I never noticed that. I give them a complex. I don't mean to, but they'll be like, why are you putting my lip liner higher on this side? I'm all, girl, because you got Drew Barrymore lips, like you had a stroke and you didn't know it. Hey guys. I do. I hold this side of my, like, see, hold this side higher, so even if they look even at the time when I'm talking, it's always like so I always have to be mindful of that. For right now, I'm done with the eyes. I mean, I could go in with a tighter brush, so you know that the more the more fluffy and open the brush is, the more expanded the color is going to be, and the tighter and more compacted a brush, then the tighter the color is going to be. So I use most brushes. Like, when someone comes up to me and says, do you ever have a good highlighter brush, or a good crease brush, or a good this brush? And I'm just like, yeah, I guess so. There's so many. You could really use any. My favorite brush to use are large fluff brushes. If I start using this, I'll use it for everything. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll try to keep it more normal. And again, I'm taking that black and bringing it pretty low, but I don't want to take away that ethereal blue that's going on. You could also do this with a good purple. Senna has a purple called Black Plum that, oh man, it's such a great purple. So when you're looking at me, you're not necessarily noticing the blue right away. It just creeps up on you. And whatever, that's all I have to say about that. So, and I'm not going to edit this tutorial because my computer, God bless it, floor model $300 at Fry's. If I tried to edit a video on there, it would crash and take away all of my genius.